Hello everyone, it's Dr. Barden here. This is the video I said I would make. I'm doing this right after class on Wednesday the 28th. We just made a real simple patch that is generating some audio with some basic controls. So I'm going to walk through that real quick. The patch that I made in class is in the Canvas page, so definitely check that out, but I'm just going to remake it right here. So I've got my patcher window open in Max. I'll make it a little bit bigger just for the sake of clarity, and we'll zoom in just a bit, and let's just get started. So I'm going to make a new object. It's going to be cycle tilde. And like I mentioned before, this is going to output a sine wave so we can hear what's happening here when we connect it all up. But right now, this is just saying we can make a sine wave. I don't have any other information. It's not connected to anything. It's just basically like having your like a blank CD. You have the potential to have it play back sound, but there's no information in it. It's not plugged into the boombox or a computer or whatever you would use on that. People don't really use CDs very much anymore, but you've got all the parts, but it's not ready to go. That's kind of where we're at. So let's start with the speakers. I'm going to make a new object called the EZ-DAC tilde and hit enter. So before I hit enter, though, the DAC, DAC part of this, it's a digital to analog converter, so it goes from the ones and zeros generated by the cycle object, converts it into electricity that the speakers on your computer can actually turn into sound. So we're going to do that there. The easy part is that it's just a simple interface. It's a button, looks like a speaker. It's easy. So we'll connect that up. And by default, when we had it before, if we just clicked and dragged from the outlet of cycle to the inlets of the EZ-DAC, we'll get that set up right there. So if we were to start the audio at the bottom here with that little toggle, I'm kind of hiding. There we are. To click the little power button, it would just automatically start playing the cycle once we gave it a frequency to output. You can also turn that on and off by locking the patch and clicking it. You see it lit up, but there's no audio coming out. It's essentially outputting a frequency of 0 hertz. That's what we've got going on there. But that's not quite all. I mean, we can turn it on and off. That's cool, but that's not really control of the patch. So we want to be able to control this. So what I did in class is I made a new slider. It helps if I unlock the patch. Excuse me, I'm still getting used to the Nebraska pollen and everything here, so I'm coughing and sneezing just a little bit. But I made a new slider with the S key, and you can rearrange this by clicking and dragging the corners of it. There's a little box there. I like this one to be, I'll make it kind of chunky, but I want it to be horizontal. So I'll click that, and I'm going to put this towards the top of the patch. So we can think of the data as kind of flowing from top to bottom. So outlets are always on the bottom of the Max objects, and inlets are always on the top. So we can connect the outlet of the slider to the inlet of the cycle object. And if you actually hover over it, you'll see a little message that's telling you what that inlet controls. So the very first one is the frequency. We'll put that right there. We're not 100% done yet, but we're getting there. So the idea is that this slider will affect the frequency of the pitch, the frequency of the sine wave, essentially making us be able to control the pitch of it. However, by default, if we click on the slider and click on the inspector object, that's going to pop up over here. If we scroll all the way down, and for this, I'm actually going to just move my face over here. So we can see that window. Click on the slider again. The range is 0 to 128. So basically, we could use this slider, and it can control the bass frequencies, which is cool. But if you're listening on headphones or laptop speakers, you're barely going to hear most of this. So I'm going to change this. Let's make the total range, let's say I think I did like 15,000 in class. That was a bit much. Let's just do 1,000 here. Double click it and we'll put the minimum at 30 hertz. Why not? So again, you can, in the inspector, change the ranges of this slider, the minimum and maximum. We'll set that up there. And we can check what this is. If I make a new print object, and heck, I can even say frequency. There, if we connect this up, and then in the console, a lot of stuff popped up on mine here because I have a bunch of different stuff. And apparently it doesn't like this Jamoma object, but that's okay. Excuse me. But now if I lock the patch, I'm going to clear this out actually, and adjust my slider. You'll see frequency, and it's got the hertz here. If I go all the way to the top, it's maxing out at this 1029. And it's it's maxing or minimizing out. The minimum value is 30, so it's a range of 1,000 values starting at 30. That's what we've got going on here. If I unlock the patch, click it again, it's a range of 1,000, output minimum 30. So it's going from 30 to 1029. That's what we've got happening there. Totally fine for right now. So I'm going to move this over just a bit, and we'll just stick that right down here. One thing that's handy is as you move objects around, these little orange lines pop up to help you line stuff up and make it visually appealing. So right now, I haven't played any audio out, but we can control the pitch of what's happening. But let's also control the volume. Maybe it's a little bit loud. Maybe it's not loud enough. Who knows? So we're going to add that in. So I'm going to make a new object called gain tilde. And this controls the volume of, this is like a gain fader. You can't see me moving a fader over here, but on a console, things like that, you control the input output. So I'm going to select the little virtual patch cable here, and they've got this green and red dot. And basically you can click on that and it will only disconnect that side of the cable. So that's super handy there. So if I connect this to the output of the gain fader, by default it'll kind of we'll do it this way too. It will want to jump to what it can connect to. So if we move it over here, it kind of highlights it there, and once it's lit up, we let go, it just connects right there. Boom, there you go. So if we connect the output of cycle to the input of the gain object, we've got that there. The output, the main audio scaled output from the gain is going to both inlets, the left and right channel of our audio output. Right here, there's actually two outlets that are really close to each other. This one is just the slider value. So if I wanted to make a number there, I could, connect it up, lock it, and then we could see, oh, that's the number value for this slider. That's handy if you're wanting to be able to control multiple things with a single slider. It doesn't always have to be just the audio. And I mentioned this in class, but I'll reiterate it here. The patch cables that have this checkered color to it, this kind of black and yellow, those are sending audio data, the ones and zeros, and the audio rate that's happening. So that 44,100 times a second or higher. Whereas these solid gray patch cables, these are sending messages. So you see, if I have my if I hover over it, it'll say what message was last sent through there. That's handy for debugging some stuff. But it doesn't send it nearly as fast as the audio data. So you can tell what's happening in a patch just by seeing what kinds of cables are there, because they all look different depending on the kind of data they're transmitting. So the last thing I did was just kind of make this a little bit prettier. So let's set it up like so. I didn't have this number box in class, but we'll just kind of shove it right there. So just to make it a little prettier, I added some comments. So this is frequency. This was output volume. This was effectively just an output toggle. So that's what we have there. So now if I lock the patch, we turn the volume down so we don't, blow out any ears to start with. Turn it on. We're not going to hear anything, but as I turn it up, we can hear the sound happening there, and we can adjust the pitch. So it can be fun to play around with. There's other ways that we can adjust this, set it up. Again, you can see what all those frequencies were popping up right here with that print object, but that's effectively where we ended the class today. I kind of, again, showed, we got everyone up to speed on, the parts of the Max Patcher, what it can do, how we connect some stuff, and then just having some basic make a sound, control the sound. That's where we ended class today. And then I just went through all the other stuff, so just be sure to check the Canvas page. There is a short little multiple choice quiz that is in there due ASAP, so you just get it done before the end of the day. Let me know if you're running into any issues with that. I won't see people in class on Monday because it's Labor Day. If you show up, I won't be here. So I'll see everyone next class on Wednesday, where we're going to start diving into some slightly more complicated iterations of this, still making sounds, having controls, but they're going to be a bit more interesting than just a single sine wave. So check all that out. Work on getting the textbook if you haven't, and if you have any questions, as always, send me an email, stop by my office hours, and I look forward to seeing you then. Bye.